Hey, welcome back to the channel, man. So jayZ and Beyonce, they selling everything because they just got caught. And Diddy, Puffy, he told on them, man, this is the main reason why they went after jayZ in the first place. The anonymous person who came out and exposed and said all of the things that jayZ and Diddy did to them that day in the studio, the judge just granted them basically so that they could keep going forward without having to give their name up or nothing like that. And this pretty much just ruined Puffy and jayZ's whole plan, because jayZ said in that document, when he responded back to that to their lawyer, he said that they're gonna have to come forward with their names and everything. They wanted them to say who was the one that was doing the accusations, because then they're gonna go back and try to get them for any little thing that they can to ruin their credibility, so that they could pretty much try to get out this jam. But now, with Puffy being under the water like that, and he had to give up jayZ, it was either going to be like jayZ takes all the blame or Puffy take all the blame. So Puffy didn't want to do none of the time for this. So this is why he threw everything onto jayZ. Basically, they was telling on each other. And this whole time, Beyonce has been frantically trying to sell the houses. She's been trying to sell the tapes. They tried to sell all the Jay's and Hova's tapes because they knew that it had the people in it that was coming forward with the allegations. They should have got rid of everything while Diddy went down in the early, like a year ago, but they held on to so many things because they didn't want it to get thrown away and people dumpster dive and it ends up in the wrong hands. One thing you got to understand is everybody is about to get caught red-handed, because they still got the tapes, they still got all of the stuff that they try to hide from people, man. All of the victims from this are like, for real, we actually supporting the victims. If you guys support the victims from this, go ahead and subscribe to this channel, like the video, and comment like justice for the victims. Put 222 in there for all the people who was done wrong, because Tupac was trying to advocate. He was trying to let everybody know how Diddy really was. And this beef, the whole thing between all the big dogs, like this beef went way too far, man, and to the point where a lot of people, once they started getting money, like jayZ, Diddy, and everybody like that, they thought that they could buy their way and buy the influence. They thought they could get people to never talk about certain things, the hush money and everything that was done in them all white parties, them after parties, man. And they thought that they was going to be able to keep that on the low for a long time. But a lot of people who were on those NDAs that showed up to the parties, you got to remember, anytime jayZ and Beyonce had people hang out with them, they had them sign and fill out all the paperwork saying that they can't talk about none of the stuff that they're going to see for at least 20 years. And what's happening is that a lot of people that they were hanging out with in the early 2000s, when they used to kick it with Puffy, when they used to kick it with J-Lo and Suge Knight and everybody, now all of the NDAs are expiring. And people who got pretty much lowballed, screwed over, or set up or whatever, they're now coming out to finally speak their piece and really tell us about what happened, because everybody knows that jayZ and Beyonce and Puffy had something to do with a lot of the stuff that had been going on for many years. And none of this stuff is new. They knew way back then that for them to become that famous and for them to get that much money, it was always something going on and behind the scenes that they didn't want nobody to know. This is why they try to keep their life so private and so mystical, and that, you know, you couldn't really be there in front of jayZ. You had to always go to the after parties, and Diddy always had the certain thing where you have to get invited to come to his freak offs and everything like that. And so they got the footage of jayZ and Beyonce walking into Diddy's party, and all of the stuff that happened there is exactly what the people are coming out saying in the documents in court. DJ Academics released the whole entire report, and I want y'all to pay attention to exactly what's going on. Listen to the words that Jay used in his statement when he responded back after he got accused of everything like that. You got to understand, the statute of limitations for a lot of these things go for 30, 40, 50 years. It's lifetime statute of limitations, so they could go back 30, 40, 50 years. They could go back as long as they want to the 90s, to jayZ's early career, to when he was chasing Beyonce, to the Maya situation, and they could go back to that and pretty much charge him with every little thing that they did, because the victims, man, they deserve justice. They've been through so much and they had to hold it all in for 20 years, man. Imagine like watching jayZ and Puffy being able to have all that money, all that lifestyle, but you know deep down that they got a secret of things that they did wrong to people, man. And this is why they're finally getting, like, the karma is actually catching up to a lot of these people, man. And everything is coming downhill for most of these. You got to remember, all the celebrities now, they distancing themselves from Jay, they distancing themselves from Puffy. They don't want to be grouped up in the same conversation as them, so everybody pretty much throwing Jay and Puffy under the bus. You saw what happened to Meek Mill and how Meek Mill was actually little Puffy's personal little boy toy and friend and everything like that. And so imagine the stuff jayZ has. Imagine all the little secrets and people that's about to come forward. All these artists is coming forward now. And Kanye West didn't even want to speak about jayZ because he's seen so much that they might come after him. This is why Yeezy stepped down for a long time. This is why he's under the radar trying to lay low right now, because he knows that they all getting caught up for everything that they was doing, for them trying to click up and be these little groups and try to gatekeep this and gatekeep that. It's a lot of the things that Keefe D was saying about the whole situation of Puff and how he was getting people set up. If he didn't like if he didn't like the fact that they pretty much knew about what Diddy did, then he would try to get him out the way. And this is exactly what happened with Tupac and Biggie. If you guys are fans of Tupac and Biggie, I want y'all to put the BBBs and the 222s in the comment section, man, because at the end of the day, you got to realize that it all started with Pac and Big going down, and then next thing you know, this is when Puff and Jay got together and they tried to keep this whole thing going because they both wanted to be at the top of the game. Like Jay and Puff, they wanted to be the kings of New York, and Biggie was in their way. You got to remember this East Coast, West Coast thing that happened. Jay was in the East Coast and Pac was West Coast. So you got to remember when Puff had to talk to Jay. Puff had to get actual advice from all of these people. Puff couldn't just go and make the move to take out Pac and Big and nothing like that, allegedly. Now they saying that Puff has something to do with Pac and Big, and they're thinking, now a lot of people is thinking that, did Puff talk to Jay about taking Big out, or about anything about the beef that they had going on, maybe the situation with Kim Porter, maybe the Lil Kim situation? Because you got to understand that a lot of these cats from New York, when this East Coast West Coast beef started, this is when they started turning against each other. This is when Jay and Puff clicked up together, and then next thing you know, Biggie gets taken out. Was Jay ever on Biggie's side? Was Jay ever on Pac's side? Did Jay have something to do with Pac and Big, just like they saying Puff has something to do with? It's all alleged and all for entertainment purposes, but at the end of the day, Beyonce knows what's going down. And Beyonce, when she started to sell jayZ's house, when they started to sell the G-Wagons and all their Maybachs, and because they had to fight these lawsuits that are coming, now they have a $50 million, and this is why jayZ's trying to sell Roc Nation for $75 million, because he knows at the end of the day that a lot of the people that are coming forward, just like how Puff had to pay $30 million to Cassie, $10 million to Lil Rob, another millions and millions of dollars to all of these people that are coming forward, jayZ's gonna have to start doing the same thing. They want $50 million from jayZ right now because of the stuff that he did from the anonymous source that's claiming that they got the tapes on him. jayZ got caught red-handed, man. They thought that they was never gonna get caught. They thought they was gonna be able to fly away with this for years and years and go off to Bali like Russell Simmons and all of them. But now Jay gonna have to sell Roc Nation for 50 to 75 million to pay off all of the people that's coming forward, because with everything and all the crimes that they got, Jay could be looking at 50 to 100 years, just like how Puff could be getting sentenced to 100 years to 50 years. They might even throw him a life sentence. And so this is why it's super critical and crucial right now. And that's why Jay has snapped back at that dude so quick, because Jay and Beyonce know it's over with for them. If they got Puffy and they got everybody else, they could get them too. And at the end of the day, the karma, the situation from Biggie, Pac, Kim Porter, everybody, including Maya, all the victims, we advocating for the victims, man. If y'all support the victims and you want to see the real justice, and you finding out what's going on, and y'all paying attention to this, hit the subscribe button and like this video right now. Comment, let me know where y'all from, and let me know if y'all Pac fans, Biggie fans. Let me know what y'all think about Jay, Beyonce, Puffy, and everybody in between, man, because the whole thing is hitting a wall right now, and we about to find out exactly what's about to go down.